Am I the a-hole for refusing to offer emotional support to my ex-fiance's daughter? I, 34 male, met my ex-fiancée 6 years ago. I was 28 and she was 36. My ex had a daughter, Kayla, who was 18 around the time we started dating, only didn't meet her until a year later. She disapproved, and I get why, given that I was only 10 years older than her. Obviously, I didn't want a stepfather role, and I made sure she knew that. Just wanted us to acknowledge each other as two people who love her mom very much, and to respect one another. Kayla still hated my guts, and she never held back giving me attitude, or even calling her mom a cougar. My ex told me her daughter was in therapy, and never liked anyone she dated since she and her ex-husband divorced when Kayla was 7. Things never improved. My ex and I eventually moved in with each other to a new apartment. She insisted on Kayla also moving in with us since she was in college and didn't want her to spend so much on rent. I had no problem with that. Still, Kayla never respected me as her mom's partner. Sometimes things of mine would go missing or I'd find them destroyed. Like a new watch my ex got me for my birthday. She threw a literal fit when we got engaged. The morning after, my car got keyed, and I could only guess who it was since the place we lived had a private garage only we had access to. This just caused too many conflicts between my fiancé and I, since she wouldn't do anything to put Kayla in line. We broke things off 3 years ago and went about my life. It hurt, but in the end, it became too much. I found out on Facebook that my ex-fiancé passed from COVID 9 months ago. Now Kayla wants to get in touch for us to meet. She sent an apology message last month and she's asking for us to meet up for coffee. Kayla says she wants us to become friends since I was so close to her mom too, and would like that help with what she's dealing with. I thanked her for her apology, but said I don't have an interest in us meeting up. I closed that chapter in my life for a reason, and it would be better to leave this in the past. I'm glad she's apologized and acknowledged what she did, but she can understand why I don't want her in my life anymore. For a while, Kayla messaged me a few times, but I stopped replying after giving my final answer. Then, my ex's mom also messaged me because Kayla is upset and asked her to talk to me. I gave the same answer, which made her very mad. She says Kayla is a child who needs comfort, and she can't believe I'm going to turn my back on her. The lady can't give Kayla the same comfort because she lives in a different country, and I'm the closest thing Kayla has to my ex since I'm so much closer, and we can actually meet up regularly. I haven't replied to either of their messages, but I still read them when they come in. I want to remain firm in keeping Kayla out of my life after everything. But given that she lost her mom, am I being an a-hole because I don't want to give her the support? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. If Kayla was 18 years old 6 years ago, that means she's 24 years old now and not a child. She has no relationship to you, and you don't owe her anything. It's nice you accepted her apology. It was more than you had to do. You would be justified if you blocked her and her grandmother. I don't believe that Kayla's even after emotional support. I think she's planning to hit OP up for money. It's the only reason people who have been nasty to you for years suddenly get in touch. She can never fully apologize for repeatedly ruining her late mother's chance at happiness with a new partner. Had her mother still been with Opie in a different living environment, she may still even be alive. Block her, Opie. Not a-hole. You had no real relationship with Kayla. It makes no sense that she would want emotional support from you. It's far more likely that she wants something else. Money, a free place to live, than that she wants emotional support from someone she never had a good relationship with and whose belongings she vandalized. Surprised this is the only comment saying this? I mean, it absolutely sucks losing a parent, especially in your early/mid-20s. But it sounds like she thoroughly hated Opie and was doing childish things to Opie as an adult in early 20s. When you're 21, you know damaging people's property is an illegal and crappy thing to do. I highly doubt this is purely a call for emotional help. I can almost guarantee this Kayla will be asking for financial support, place to live, etc., hoping Opie will step in as some sort of pseudo-parent, since it's the closest thing she has. Not an a-hole. This child is now in her 20s, and both she and her grandmother are asking far too much of you. It may seem harsh, but I would block them both for contacting you further. Not an a-hole. If she needs help, she can get a therapist. There are tons of qualified professionals that can help her, and it's not your responsibility to reopen those wounds to help a child. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for getting my own streaming services? My boyfriend, 28 male, has given our streaming service passwords to several of his friends. Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus, etc. If you're someone who shares a streaming service with several people, you're probably aware that there's a cap on how many people can stream at once. Since our streaming services are being shared with so many people, he doesn't remember how many people and which of his friends he shared it with. It's very difficult to watch anything since there's always multiple people at any given time. Whenever we try to watch a show or movie together and we can't proceed because of limitations, he'll excuse it by saying, "We'll just try later when they're not watching." The issue is someone is always watching, lol. My patience began to wear thin, so I told my boyfriend, "I don't mean to be nasty, but your friends are being freeloaders. They have jobs, and if they want to use HBO Max, they can pay for their own subscription. It's really hard to watch anything I or we want to watch with so many people." He told me I'm being selfish, and that since he pays for it, he can share it with whoever he wants to. So I subscribed to a few services on my personal devices and paid for them. I was watching a show that I had been dying to watch on my laptop, and my boyfriend asked if I wanted to watch something with him. I said, "No thanks, I've been dying to catch up on this." He then said, "See? Just be patient. Not everyone is watching all the time." I said, "Oh, actually, I made my own account." He got offended because he said he already pays for subscription services, so I'm just wasting my money and being childish. Not the a-hole. Tell him you can do what you want with your money. Since he's not interested in giving you a say in the streaming services, you're allowed to get your own. Major not the a-hole. Because I pay for the streaming devices at home and my brother gave out the password to several of his friends and I would never be able to watch anything, so I just canceled the subscription and told him I'll no longer be subscribed and made a new account for myself. You could have just changed the password and logged out all of the other devices. I know some streaming services allow that. Maybe remind him that he is just your boyfriend and in no way has control of your finances. You also don't have to consult with him before you make decisions concerning your finances. Exactly. Plus, streaming services aren't crazy expensive. It's not like she's spending thousands of dollars on something useless. Definitely not the a-hole. He seems to be prioritizing the wants of his friends. He's not prioritizing you and the time you spent together. And he's calling you childish? Red flag. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to allow my child to stay overnight at her father's home? I'll start by saying that the issues with this man run very deep. And I'd be here all day if I was to tell you the whole story. So for this post, I just want an opinion on this particular issue. I, late 30s female, am a single mom to my daughter age 4. Her father, early 30s male, abandoned us as soon as he found out I was pregnant, and then changed his mind just before she was born. He has caused untold hell since that moment, but that's info for another post. My daughter has never stayed over at his house. He rents a tiny studio. He recently has said he may move to a house and then he'd like her to start staying over. I have refused on the following grounds. 1. He smokes grass. He smells. His home smells. She smells and her clothes and shoes smell when she comes home from a day there. I have mentioned this several times and it has got slightly better, but he still smokes it, and I'm not happy for her to stay in a home where there are Ds. Plus, I do not know who he gets it from or if it gets dropped off to him, etc. Now, I know it's not like it's meth, but I'm still not happy to have her around it, and it's been very upsetting to have her come back to me smelling of it. I have told him he will have to give it up before I let her stay over. He wouldn't smoke it when she was there, that I know. 2. The incident. When she was 2, nearly 3, I went out for the evening and he stayed at mine to watch her until I got home at 11 p.m, at which point he would leave. I live on the 4th floor of an apartment building. When I came home, up in the lift, the doors opened, and there he was, in the communal hallway about to take the lift down to the ground floor to his car, leaving a 2-year-old asleep in my home. He claims he was only popping down to the car. It's not an issue and she was asleep, so what's the big deal? I said that not only could he have been involved in an accident or something, but my main concern was as a 2-year-old she often wakes in the night. If she had woken up and been unable to find an adult in her home, she would have been absolutely traumatized. He also left the front door unlocked, and she could have gone looking for him. He says that he did not go down to his car, because I came out of the lift before he managed to get any further, so technically he didn't leave her. Obviously, my main point is that he intended to and got caught. This argument goes round in circles. So therefore, I have refused to allow him to have her overnight as he cannot be trusted. He says I'm being over the top and dredging up the past. I say I'm a good mom, and I won't have my girl in any danger whatsoever. There is a lot more detail I can elaborate if asked. But Reddit, am I the a-hole for not allowing overnight stays? Not the a-hole. But you all three need a legal custody arrangement yesterday. This issue isn't going anywhere. Not legal advice here, but chances are he'd get at least some overnight visitation, with rules, if you did so. So it's time to set expectations at a reasonable level to ensure safety, like no smoking while she's present, no leaving the house while she's present unless there's another approved adult in the house. These are totally reasonable. I wouldn't be so sure about him getting any overnights with a child coming home from visits smelling like D's. So you're asking if you're the a-hole for not allowing your kid to stay the night with someone who does smoke and seems completely irresponsible basically? The answer is no, you aren't. Not the a-hole. He's never taken them when with her. His whole home stinks because he's dirty and messy and doesn't wash things properly. So the smell just lingers in all the furniture, etc. If CPS were to visit his home, would they find issue with it? Not the a-hole for trying to keep your daughter safe. To be totally honest, they have bigger fish to fry. I mean, they'd smell, and maybe if they looked, they'd find it. I have no idea where he keeps it. They'd see it's pretty dirty, but I don't think they'd have anything else to report. Thank you. Not the a-hole. First, dude proved himself irresponsible when he disappeared from the relationship the second a pregnancy happened. The fact that he got remorseful and came back doesn't, in my mind, change that much. Secondly, the smoking thing doesn't bother me that much, as long as he doesn't get wasted while the kid is there, and if it's legal. If it's not, that's a whole different thing. Third, leaving a small child home alone, even if it was just to go down to his car, is an irresponsible act. Not irredeemably irresponsible, just definitely not smart. But it's the sort of thing that you might not really think about when having a kid around is relatively new to you. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for insisting my wife stop sleeping with her makeup on? Hear me out, please. My male 33, wife female 27, was unemployed since 2019. She was down on her luck with getting a job, and 2020 made it a whole lot worse. But her new friend got her a job at a beauty salon. And I'm very happy for her and very proud because she got dealt a crappy hand in those nearly 3 years without income. Also, she developed awesome makeup artist skills. She practices a lot on her own face to come up with her own ideas, and she already has few customers that like her work. She works in the afternoon till 9 p.m., gets home, eats dinner, then goes straight to bed. Usually before I do because I go to bed at 12. So what my wife does is go to bed with her full makeup on, leaving stains on both pillows because she always tends to sleep on different sides on the bed. Why it bothers me is because of the stains and also the strong smell of the products. I talked to her about it, and she took it as an I was against her wearing makeup, saying she needed to look good herself to get customers to want her service. I just pointed out that the stains she was leaving in both pillows were not cool, and since I ended up doing the cleaning because she said she was too tired to remove her makeup before going to bed. Last night, she finished eating dinner and wanted to go to bed. I asked her if she was going to bed with her makeup on, and she stood there saying yes. I informed her that I already cleaned the pillows and asked her to clean up before going to bed. She threw a fit and gave a long rant about how long and hard she works trying to provide for us, and that I was being overdramatic and paying attention to stupid little things. She wanted to just go inside a bedroom, but I stopped her and insisted she removes her makeup first. She blew up at me and called me an a-hole for not letting her sleep and rest after being on her feet all day. She grabbed a blanket and went to sleep on the couch, and she was so mad I had to go outside to cool off a bit. This morning she went radio silence, but kept giving me bitter looks, then tested me hours ago to say she was spending the night at a friend's place since I was going to make her sleep on the couch tonight as well. I don't get it. I could have been a major a-hole for causing to sleep on the couch, But I was getting tired of having to clean the pillows every day. And that's not an exaggeration. Am I the a-hole for insisting my wife to stop sleeping with her makeup on? Not the a-hole. Leaving her makeup on overnight is terrible for her skin. And at the very least, she could put a towel over her pillow. But yeah, she's going to ruin her skin, and I wear makeup regularly, so I'm not anti-makeup. I'm pro look after the canvas. I'm pro makeup, but you have to take it off before bed and have a good skincare routine. I can't even imagine how bad her skin must look under all that makeup. Wonder if the issue is it's so bad she doesn't want her husband to see her without it. Plus, it takes what, like 5 minutes at most to take makeup off? She could just use a makeup remover wipe and a quick rinse, since she obviously either has Teflon skin or doesn't give a crap about it. It takes less time than brushing her teeth, so it's not some major barrier to getting to sleep. This whole thing is super weird. Not day-hole. Is your wife a child? She can learn to wash her face rather than put her energy into a temper tantrum. Leaving makeup on 24/7 is terrible for her skin too. That should get her attention. But you know, even if it weren't just the stains that you have to clean up, you told her the smell bothers you in bed, and she doesn't seem to care. That's incredibly inconsiderate. She shouldn't sleep on the couch, as that's even harder to get makeup out off, by the way. Ooh, I hate makeup smell, not gonna lie. Don't know how Opie sleeps on pillows with the smell all over. Not the day-hole. There are wipes she can get for this. It takes just seconds to remove your makeup with them. My mother-in-law cut my hair in my sleep because she thought I cheated on my husband. Plus updates. Original post. So I'm still processing this, but I need to get it off my chest. Last night, I woke up and realized someone had butchered my hair. One side is a jagged pixie cut and the other side hangs awkwardly past my shoulder. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. Maybe I sleepwalked or something, but no. I confronted my husband Tim because he's been acting weird lately, but he denied it. Then he dropped this bombshell. My mom, she might have done it. Apparently, my mother-in-law, let's call her Diane, is convinced I've been cheating on Tim. Why? Because last week, she saw me having lunch with a coworker. For the record, the coworker, Kyle, is gay, and we were literally talking about work. But Diane decided I must be having an affair, and instead of, talking to me or Tim, she broke into our house in the middle of the night with scissors and went full Edward Scissorhands in my hair. This morning, I confronted her. At first, she played innocent, but when I pressed her, she literally said, "Well, maybe now you'll think twice before humiliating my son." I was fuming. I told her Kyle isn't even into women, but she just rolled her eyes and said something like, "That's what they all say." I didn't even know how to respond to that level of delusion. Tim is horrified and apologetic, but I'm struggling here. This woman violated my personal space, destroyed my hair, and acted like she was in the right. I want to go no contact with her, but Tim is stuck between me and his mom, and I feel like this is going to be a huge blow-up in our marriage. Any advice? Because I'm honestly at a loss here. Now for the top advice before reading the update. This is assault. Please report her. Terrifying. You're right. It does feel like a form of assault, and I've been seriously considering reporting her. It's not just about the hair. It's the violation of my personal space and a sense of safety in my own home. I'm still weighing the pros and cons of escalating things legally, but comments like yours are helping me see how serious this is. Thank you for validating how terrifying it really was. It's pretty much set in stone that if she doesn't face consequences for this literal crime, she will continue to act in such ways towards you, unquestioned. By the way, your husband is a sack of turd. What a useless dude. With a spouse like that, who needs enemies? Your husband needs to step up or you'll regret staying with him long term. The husband sounds like he knew what his mother was going to do. Why does she have keys to your house? Your husband should be angry, but alas, I say he agreed with his mother. There's no way he'll go no contact. You'll get told to suck it up or admit to something you never did. Now, OB, you need to decide what you want out of your marriage. Wait for kids for her to say they're not your husband's. If your husband doesn't realize that this is straight up crazy behavior and that you need to be protected from this lunatic, he needs to be an ex. I completely get where you're coming from, and trust me, I've thought about this. Thankfully, my husband has been supportive so far. He's set boundaries with her and is backing me up. That said, I've made it clear to him that if he wavers or doesn't take my safety seriously, we'll have a much bigger problem. This kind of behavior can't be excused, no matter who it's coming from. One time, my mother-in-law was sitting in a car in the back seat behind me. She saw my hair and wanted to touch it, so she reached forward and gently grabbed a handful, running it through her hand. The only thing is, we were in a foreign country with the car windows down, and a motorcyclist had just rolled to a stop next to us at the light. For a split second, I didn't register it was her and thought the motorcyclist was grabbing my hair through the window. I was startled, but not hurt. My husband, then boyfriend, snapped at his mom, saying she can't just grab people or touch them without asking, and that she's scared the crap out of me. Your mother-in-law snuck into your house while you were sleeping and hacked off all your hair. And your husband could only muster a sheepish, "It might have been my mom?" Hun, I think my husband would have to be restrained from screaming obscenities at her. Your husband does not have your back and is not standing up for you. He was clearly aware his mother had some kind of major issue with you and didn't give you a heads up. Now for the updates. Update 1. My husband and I will be going to my mother-in-law tomorrow to talk to her about the situation again. Hopefully, everyone will be calmed down by then, and I won't have to threaten legal action. Thank you for all the support and suggestions. I will keep them in mind. Update 2. After the conversation we had with Diane this morning, I noticed my husband Tim was acting weird. At first, I thought it was just guilt about standing up to his mom, but it felt like more than that. He's been avoiding eye contact and getting defensive when I bring up what happened. Earlier, I couldn't take it anymore, so I sat him down and told him he needed to be 100% honest with me about everything. That's when he dropped the bombshell. Apparently, Diane didn't come up with a haircut idea on her own. Tim admitted that he knew about it ahead of time and even helped her. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. He said he truly thought I was cheating on him with Kyle, my gay coworker, because Diane had convinced him that there was too much evidence to ignore. When she suggested cutting my hair as some kind of weird punishment, he didn't stop her. In fact, he led her into our house that night while I was sleeping. Tim said he didn't want to confront me directly because he wasn't ready for the truth. So instead, he let his mother do this insane thing to me, thinking it would force me to come clean. Afterward, when I didn't admit to cheating, he started to realize he might have been wrong. But by then, he didn't know how to tell me what he'd done. He kept saying, "I'm so sorry, I was just confused. But I honestly don't know how to process this." This wasn't just Diane acting like a lunatic, this was both of them, and my own husband betrayed me in one of the most humiliating ways possible. I packed a bag and I'm staying with a friend tonight while I figure out what to do. I don't know if I can ever trust him again after this. It's not just a haircut, it's the fact that he didn't talk to me, believed the worst about me without any proof, and actively participated in something so cruel and violating. As for Diane, she's officially dead to me. I've already told Tim that I don't want her in my life ever again, regardless of what happens between us. Right now, I'm torn. Part of me wants to file a police report on both of them for what they did, but I'm scared of how messy it will get. Another part of me just wants to cut ties and move on, but that feels like letting them off too easy. I don't know what my next step is, but I do know this. I deserve better than this. Thank you to everyone who has supported me through this. Your comments and advice have meant the world, and I'm truly grateful for the kindness and understanding. It's helping me find the strength to figure out what comes next. Update 3. After everything that's happened, I've been thinking a lot about my next steps, and I've come to a heartbreaking but necessary conclusion. I don't think there is any coming back from this. I trusted Tim with my heart, my safety, my life, and he betrayed me in ways I never thought possible. I can't imagine a future where I feel safe with him, where I can trust him, or where I don't carry the weight of his violation every day. I'm strongly considering filing for divorce. The thought of staying with him feels unbearable, but at the same time, I can't stop worrying about the messiness of it all. I just want to cut ties completely, to walk away and rebuild my life without him or his mother dragging me down any further. As for filing a police report, I'm leaning toward it, but I'm scared of what it might bring. I know what they did was a crime. My own husband led his mother into our home to assault me in my sleep. But the thought of dealing with legal battles, or even just having to relive this again and again in statements, is exhausting. Part of me wants to hold them accountable, but another part just wants to run away and never look back. Right now, I'm taking it one step at a time. I've been talking to friends, trying to find some clarity in all this chaos. It's terrifying and painful, but I know one thing for sure. I deserve so much better than this. Thank you to everyone who has shown me kindness and support. It means the world to me right now. Next story. I want to divorce my wife over her hair. This is just me venting, and I am so exhausted with my wife lately. Our little girl's wedding was back in October, and it was a complete disaster because of my wife. My wife and daughter had gotten into a fight before the wedding, seemingly made up a few days before, so we flew down and were going to stay until after the wedding. When we got there, my wife started complaining about her hair. My daughter suggested a few of the salons around New Orleans that could have fit her in before the wedding. My wife asked her if she would just do her hair. My daughter has her beauty license. My daughter agreed, and that's when the disaster started. My wife's hair was too warm, then too cool, then too warm again. My daughter had done it 3 times in a row, 6 hours each time, because my wife has a lot of hair and wanted to be foiled back to back. Not sure if I phrased that right. My daughter said she couldn't do it again for the 4th time because she didn't want to over-process her hair and that her body was killing her. She said she was becoming burned out from her nursing job, her hair job, and now all the wedding planning and running around. This 3rd appointment was the day of her wedding, by the way. Before it started, my wife said, "Don't take another 10 hours to do it." My wife became very short and snippy with her and complained about her hair the entire time. She kept sending my daughter pictures of hair colors she liked and telling her she colored it too gray and cool. My daughter was in tears during her wedding because she said her feet were blistered, making it hard for her to walk in the heels she had purchased for her wedding day. Her husband gently asked us if we could go home the day after the wedding, and I, of course, agreed. I was continuously telling my wife that her hair looked amazing and to leave our daughter alone, but she kept saying this is her job. I snapped at her after the 2nd appointment and said enough is enough. I also learned that my daughter had spent over $400 just on a product for my wife's hair. My little girl and her husband make enough to sustain themselves and live comfortably. But I know that after their wedding, they wanted to tighten their belts and start saving for a house because they plan on trying for kids soon. After the wedding, my wife completely blew up once we got home, saying her hair was a mess and that she was going to have to pay a lot of money to get it fixed. She texted our daughter and ripped into her, saying what she wanted wasn't that hard and that she completely destroyed her hair. Our daughter just replied that she was sorry and hasn't talked to us since. She sent me a happy Thanksgiving text and told me she loved me, but she hasn't talked to her mom since that text, and she only keeps in regular contact with her siblings. I am so beyond pissed off. She worked hard, coming off a 16-hour nursing shift and immediately doing her mom's hair for 6 hours, and then 2 more 6-hour appointments back to back, and my wife is still ungrateful? This isn't the woman I married. This isn't the mother that I know. If I have to hear about her precious hair one more time, I'm going to leave, because no hair is worth her relationship with her daughter. Now for the top advice. This sounds like it wasn't actually about the hair. This sounds like she was purposefully sabotaging the week and finding a reason to go after her afterward. Something else is going on here. OP says in other posts that his wife pushed her about having a wedding when she didn't want it. It was bad enough that they eloped and the wife/mom was upset. I'm still thinking she's just angry about that and that this child marches on her own tune, which is completely opposite of her mother's. Who the heck let this happen? It took me halfway through to realize she had a bride styling her hair for freaking 18 hours around the wedding. Where was the best man, maid of honor, fiancé, and especially OP? It's your freaking job to run interference with this kind of nonsense to keep the bride and groom out of this kind of nonsense. Is your wife menopausal and acting crazy? I say this as a woman because my mom was out of character and straight up mean for years with that. Maybe she needs help. Not excusing her. This is awful for everyone concerned. But if you don't want to lose your wife and your daughter, it's maybe something to consider. Not that I know of. She has monthly doctor visits and she's as healthy as a horse. She still gets her period monthly. I know this because I'm the one that has to buy her supplies. But maybe it's premenopause? Is it a thing? I've heard of it, but I don't know if it's a myth. Why does she have monthly doctor's visits? She's trying to lose weight, so she's been on this medication since the beginning of the year and does monthly weight check-ins. It helps hold her accountable and ensures she's still doing okay on the meds because they can cause side effects like heart issues. Is your wife on phentermine? That will definitely make someone act like an insufferable a-hole. It's essentially speed. Yeah, that's exactly the med she's on. She's taking 30 milligrams twice a day. Should I tell her doctor about this? Holy, that's a really high dose. I've used it successfully in the past, but it did severely affect my mood. And I had to be very careful not to be a witch. My GP advised that the max prescribed is 30 milligrams once a day, and a responsible prescriber will usually try to reduce to 15 milligrams. It's also not recommended for more than 3 months, with a max of 2 3-month courses allowed, provided you take a 1-month break after the first 3. I've used it twice in the last 5 years, but the second time, I had to stop early due to extreme anxiety. It's not a medication to take lightly, and there are better options out there now. Last story. My mother told me who my dad cheated on her with. My 17 male parents divorced around 2019 or 20 because my dad had been cheating on my mom for years at that point. Why it had taken her so long when it wasn't really a secret isn't really important. In 2022, I got a boyfriend. He was the brother of a friend I had when I was young, so we were somewhat familiar. We also go to the same school and have mutual friends. A few months ago, we split up for unrelated reasons after 2 years of dating. I was pretty crushed because I wasn't expecting it, so I went to my mother for comfort. It was my first breakup, so she tried to console me by telling me stories. At some point, she started talking about how she handled the split from my dad because, even though she knew he is an utter a-hole, divorcing someone after a 16-year marriage is still hard. Eventually, we started talking about his cheating and the things he had done. She began listing women she knew he cheated on her with, which, amongst others, included the woman he is now married to and a colleague of his. After that, she paused for a moment and asked me if I wanted her to tell me about someone she knew I would be particularly shocked by. I said sure. I expected maybe my godmother, not that she seems like that kind of woman, I just wouldn't have expected it. But she told me he cheated on her with the mother of my ex-boyfriend. I feel weird about it now, as I did then, because she really is a sweet woman and also married, happily. It seemed to me over the 2 years I was dating her son. They had recently had another child together, and I really hope that child isn't just a last-ditch effort to stay together like my little brother was. Your ex found out, and that's why he ended things. Don't think so. We are still in contact. If he knew, he would be a lot different. The breakup was sudden, but it wasn't because of that. My dad and he never properly met while we were together, and I wouldn't think my mom or his mother told him. His dad doesn't know, I think. I think you should ask him to meet up and discuss your breakup again and tell him what you know/have been told. God, no. He is younger than me and still living with his parents. I don't know what his dad knows, and I don't want to be the reason their marriage is over. That's their issue to work through. I know why he ended things, if what he told me is the truth and it seems plausible, and it has nothing to do with that situation. It's ultimately your choice. But since you're still friendly with your ex, I'm surprised at your lack of empathy and lack of morals. He and his father deserve to know the truth. And while you may not want to be the one to tell them, but someone should. If you don't, you're complacent and condoning the affair.